are going to be question and answer.
She wants a gangster in a bed tonight. She wants me.
Coordinating it. Myself, okay. Yeah. Question, answer. You can ask any question, but not money. I don't have money. Somebody is there.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Yusuf from the University of Ibadan, Agricultural Economics. I really commend your presentation, sir. I would like to ask these particular questions. As international trade is concerned, what are the policies that can be put in place to bring down counterfeiting? Counterfeit goods. Counterfeit. Yes, sir. Also, what are the necessary things that we need to put in place to all this? And what are the globally responses to this also? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. You want to take more questions or you just want me to do dialogue? Let's take more questions. Counterfeit is very simple to say. Any other question? Okay. Yes.
Good morning.
African free trade agreements, several of them. Unfortunately, it seems that politics always trumps the economic policies. What can economists do to make politicians see the light? That's the question.
I can't hear you clearly.
How can economists make politicians see the light of free trade? Because several times politicians Trump, they mouth all these things. There have been several initiatives for free trade agreements, but year in, year out, decades out, it's still all talk and no action.
Yes, thank you.
What practical steps can people take to make politicians see the light?
Okay, thank you very much. You are separating economics from politicians. Are they not the same? Any other one? I think I can respond to this too quickly. Counterfeit goods. Unfortunately, in this country, we are the one asking for counterfeit. I hope I'm communicating. Mr. Yusuf, did you hear me? Or Dr. Yusuf, sorry. Did you hear me? In this country, our traders are the ones asking for counterfeit goods. True or false? It's unfortunate. There are standards. There are technical barriers to trade, especially when you are talking about health-related issues. There are certifications that you need to collect. That when people go to China or any other country to say, this is exactly what I want, or to say, give me original 5 packs and supply 95% counterfeit. Remember Dora Abilu, what's the name? Yes, of NAFDAC. He fought that word to death. Unfortunately, people are doing business with our health. There are different protocols and rules, including what we can call import restriction based on so many factors. just like small arms and ammunition. Okay, there are stringent rules that all these cannot be traded freely. But we still have them because our border is what? Very full. So the other time I started by saying so the related to that is where we have dumping. Dumping is a technical word. Dumping to me is like where you have antitrust law, anti-competitive law. Do you know that in this country, there was a brand that decided to send the other competitor out of the market? And you know what the brand did? Was selling below the cost price. I hope I'm communicating. And he did that, and the competitor cannot, of course. When that one folded up, they raised the price. Dumping is also similar to that, where a country is selling to your market at below the cost price, just to disrupt the system here. So there are also anti-dumping rules and regulations to capture this. And we also noted that dumping in some cases, the quality is not the same as the one that is not done. But it is not done by masquerade. It is not traded by masquerade. It is traded by you and my brother. I hope I'm communicating. Yes, sir. To the issue of African trade and policies. In 2012, I was in Addis when we started, we call it Continental Free Trade Area then. But remember, we call it Continental Free Trade Area and BIAT. That's boosting intra-African trade. People tend to forget that we have that element there. Actually, we just launched a study to look at the 10 years of BIAT. But let me say this time around, it was the policy makers that actually drove the emergency of AFCFTA. And I also said it was because of what is happening around us. One of the objectives that we did not mention to everybody is to unite Africa. You remember at that time, we were negotiating EU EPA, European Union Economic Partnership, all over, including West Africa. Ghana was going the other way, Senegal was going this way. When you go to East Africa, Kenya is on its own, Uganda is on its own. And not only that, there are other external bodies trying to penetrate Africa. And they decided that the best we can do is to fast track the establishment of African Continental Free Trade Area. That's the beginning. Not that it's a perfect document, but I believe politicians meant well when this was done. It is one thing to have the agreement. It is another thing to implement it. We are still far away from implementing those agreements. And to me, I hope it's not going to go the other way. The way others have done, where you sign the agreement and it is not implemented. But this time around, this is an actionable agreement. Actionable in the sense that any country can sue Nigeria for not implementing. Hopefully we will not get to that stage before we implement. It is also another thing to have an agreement and implement it in such a way that it will promote growth and development in your country. Right now, if you look at 2063 agenda, that's AU, and the Sustainable Development Goal. There are 3 groups that we think are going to promote sustainability. One is SMEs, because if you look at the structure in terms of employment, in terms of this, we should promote SMEs. The other one is gender, female traders. They are also in agriculture, in services. So if you are implementing such an agreement and you don't integrate these 3 components, it is not going to lead to any sustainable development. That's what some people are doing. And actually, that's my project that I'm doing right away, using 8 African countries as case studies. How to effectively implement AFCFTA. But it is one thing to do this properly. It is another thing to implement it. Remember, we were unable to join them in signing at the first time. It took a late Osakwe of blessed memory. The man resigned from WTO, thinking that he can fix Nigeria for us, but in the process he died. So, politicians, yes, but it's also important that all of us should know that agreement and know our rights from that agreement and use that right appropriately. We are also praying that what government is supposed to do in the implementation of the agreement, one of them that is very, very important, is provide market information system.
The world needs to know about it. Also, our social media name, Ominira HQ, across all social media platforms. Please follow us. Thank you so much. Now we're moving to the next section, where we'll be having our second panel session. And our moderator for today will be Mr. Kayode Babarige. Thank you. So I'll be telling you a bit about Mr. Kayode. He's the Executive Director at African Blockchain Institute. The headquarters is at Kigali, Rwanda.
Specifically, I'd like to recognize my mother, Professor Arulogo. Can we please clap for her? The Director at Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, University of Ibadan. Thank you very much, ma. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your access, and thank you for the opportunities. Thank you very much, sir. So today, we'll be talking on innovation and fintech solutions for SME growth in Nigeria. Joining me at the panel today is Mr. Folarin Adeboye. Mr. Folarin Adeboye here. Mr. Folarin Adeboye is an entrepreneur, a business consultant, and a tech enthusiast. He's the co-founder and CEO of FiNCON2022 Savings, a fintech platform that uses a hybrid model to provide financial services for the people and businesses, currently serving over 34,000 active users. He is also a managing partner at FiNCON Mills and FiNCON Depots. Folarin is a Tony Elumelu Foundation alumnus, a CFI fellow, and also Founder Institute nominee, and a recipient of many entrepreneur awards. Can you please welcome Mr. Folarin Adeboye to join us. Also joining us is Mr. Olaboye Olarinwaju. Mr. Olaboye Olarinwaju is a first-class graduate of economics and a software developer and a tutor. His experience cut across startups, non-profit organizations, and businesses in Nigeria and beyond. Please let's make welcome Mr. Olaboye Olarinwaju to please join us on the stage. And lastly is Mr. Olumide Omotosho. Mr. Olumide Omotosho is a software engineer and a tech entrepreneur. He's the founder and the CEO of ByteLab Technology Limited. He is deeply invested in building products that simply tax for a click. This has led his company to create various solutions which have gained a widespread popularity. and beyond. Educated at the prestigious OAU, Olumide was driven to pursue a career tech business because of his passion for solving complex problems and his genuine love to see Nigeria work in his lifetime. Please let's make welcome Mr. Olumide Omotosho. So I'll be engaging my panelists for the next 30, 40 minutes about innovation and fintech. So I will encourage each and every one of us while we are discussing
industry for like 6, 7 years. I'm majorly a software engineer that tries to build solutions that help small businesses. I build solutions that help restaurants to manage their businesses. I've also worked with EdTech platforms. One of them is EdLift, a San Francisco YC-backed EdTech platform. We try to train the next generation of software engineers. Right now, for the past 2 years, I've been focused on training people in Nigeria in software engineering, and that has been my very short journey so far.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. My name is Olumide.
Hello.
My name is Olumide, and I am a software engineer of over 7 years experience. So I think before now, I think just a little background about me. I was educated, I studied in OAU, and shortly after leaving Ife, I studied materials engineering. Just before I left Ife, I decided early on that I was going to build a career in technology. And that has actually led me to create a few solutions that is currently being used in Nigeria and across Africa. One of our solutions is called Lofty SMS, which is a product I created while at campus. And the solutions have gone on to have like more than 200,000 customers and has delivered over 1 billion messages across Nigeria. And one of our solutions also is called Watu. I think a few people here might actually have interacted with Watu product before. So Watu is a fintech platform that we build fintech solutions, and some of our fintech solutions includes payment gateway, a payment link. We also give POS out for agency banking and for businesses. And so that's like basically my background in business and in technology. So I've been developing solutions. I've been writing codes for like a while now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I have also a general question to both of you regarding SME in Nigeria. So I'd like to throw it out to both of you. What is the status of SME growth in Nigeria? I don't want to assume that it's been positive so far or negative also on the other end. I'd like to ask, what is the status of SME growth in Nigeria?
I think without missing words, I think we have to appreciate where we are currently. Nigeria as SMEs, I would say we're improving. So we're not there yet compared to what is obtainable, outside of the country. So in terms of probably climate, like SME climate, probably in terms of government policies and a lot of stuff, I think a lot of things can be improved. But in terms of innovations, I think we are high there. We are up there with the best in the world in terms of the kind of solutions that we can create. Actually, that's been proven over and over again with the quality of startups that are showing up in the country. But in terms of what we can achieve because of what the limitations that is placed on us by government policies, by epileptic power supply, by a lot of things, I think there are a lot of things that can improve in the country.
All right.
I also share the same opinion. I believe we should appreciate where we are truly, because a lot of startups have been coming out of Nigeria since 2013, 14, going into music, trying to change out music is mainstream, trying to model against that music and all these guys. We've seen a lot of fintech come into play, and they are trying to take our banking to door to door. So we have a lot of us. I'm very sure if we do a poll here, we might have 3-4 people that have done POS business before, or that are doing POS business now. That is one of the very cheap SME businesses that we are having around now. So it shows that, particularly when it comes to finance, collection, and agriculture, we are trying to move in the SME space. We are moving in the positive direction. And like Olumide said, we still have a lot of bottlenecks. I don't know, maybe while during our discussion we got to talk more about them, but we should be proud of where we are. Thank you.
Yes, certainly. I totally agree with you, especially coming from the point of technology use case in Nigeria and how far we've gone. We never appreciate what we have done here in Nigeria until we leave Nigeria. I mean, where you have to spend a whole day trying to open a bank account, even trying to run transactions. I mean, I remember a short story of a Unilorin lecturer that came down to Rwanda, and he find it difficult to first open his account, number one. And number two is that to check his account balance, they dictate service charge. So he was calling, Mr. Kayode, how much you owe me?
Yeah, you know, to buttress what you just said, you know, this instant transfer that we have in Nigeria, globally, we are still one of the few countries that actually have it. So it shows how the part of, the short answer is SME growth and freedom, they work together. So if we are having more SME, either the same number growing in terms of what they do, their turnover, or we are having increased number of SMEs, it means we are going to be having more economic freedom from economic point of view. But what I can see to that is we still need to take care of a lot of things. For instance, if you look at ease of doing business, Nigeria is currently at 131. The ease of starting business, we are at 105. And if you're trying to get a credit facility, I was surprised that Nigeria is presently at 15, ranked 15 among 192 countries. So that means we are able to get finance for our businesses, even though there's still a lot of discussion. But I was struck when I saw that when it comes to resolving insolvency, that means people not being able to pay back this loan. Nigeria is ranked 148. Then in terms of generating electricity, Nigeria is ranked around 168, I believe. So all these statistics from the World Bank, they point to a lot of things. So I had a discussion with an insurance person in the audience named James. We spoke about, is it possible that the Nigerian credit space and the Nigerian insurance space, they are not working hand in hand? And we had a lot of discussion around it. So that means for us to get to the next level, as individuals running our business, there are a lot of responsibilities we have to take when it comes to running our businesses efficiently. We don't have good electricity. We rank so low, we rank 168. So that means that we should be looking at businesses that are going to look at how do we make power cheap, easy, and affordable. That is one. Those are the kind of SMEs we should be talking about. When I also look at the United Nations goals, I don't take a lot of them so serious. But one of them that always strike me is the food / the hunger goal. I can't remember the number, zero hunger. The truth is, we might not be able to reach zero hunger, but we can actually close that gap. So that means that as Africa as a continent, we tend to have a very high growth rate. I'm not sure of our current growth rate as a continent in terms of population. So that means that business, not only in terms of running our business from credit point of view and insurance point of view, we also need to look at the feeding point of view. Africa is going to be growing in population. So that means there is still business for those who can go into agriculture-related businesses. So it means our growth, we can still go forward more than what we have in terms of economic freedom. And as we build more SMEs in all these spaces where there are gaps, it means there will be more jobs created. It means reduced unemployment for the country, and it can also, to an extent, mean a better ranking in terms of all these ease of generating electricity, the availability of electricity. So I think we need to look at all these spaces. It is being said that the world crisis has two meanings. It has the problem part and it has the opportunity part. So just like we have these problems trying to impede our growth, we can actually tap into the problems and create opportunities from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Following up on that, Mr. Olumide, I want to ask, what are the impact of the current economic realities on SMEs in Nigeria? Let me give you context. So, they ask, is it the good news or the bad news? So let me come with the bad news first. The reality in terms of right now, limited power supply to be able to service our business, and also police harassment, especially those that have laptops and those that have smartphones. Another one could be front-page internet. Especially those that have remote jobs, they need to do interviews and don't really move there. And wait, the good part. The good part is about, it's less to do business, it's less expensive to do business in Nigeria as somewhere else. Good that you confirm that. Second thing is that also, labor is quite affordable in Nigeria. And also, there's possibility of prosperity. We have seen, this guy, the guy that has this Patricia. So now, back to my question. So what are the real impact of reality to SME growth in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much, Kayode. I think we have to approach this now from the perspective of people that actually own in SMEs, right? It's actually easy for us to say a lot of these things like talking about the positive part that you mentioned, that it's actually cheap to, do business in Nigeria. It's actually easy for us to, write all of those things on paper and start pushing that narrative that in Nigeria, yes, by the time you look at probably what you are going to spend, the money you are going to spend probably to maybe to service your company or to run the company and all of those things, I might be able to agree with you. You have to factor in, and some of those costs, I would say maybe things like productivity cost, and that is where all of the problems you mentioned actually comes into play. And I like picking one of them is like the epileptic power supply that you mentioned. I think nowadays in Nigeria we have short memory. So nowadays because we're seeing like maybe 12 to 18 hours of electricity, we tend to forget what we experienced 2 months ago, or maybe 3 months ago, for instance, even less than 3 months ago, where there was almost no electricity at all. Yeah, the grid collapsed like a lot of times, and you have to like measure that impact on your business. For instance, in our company, we run generator at that time like 247, and then by the time in all of this, there are some things that I consider basic, and those basic stuff are supposed to be meetings like electricity that you mentioned, maybe access to good roads. In fact, like not being harassed by police, it actually should be a basic necessity. For instance, I deal with developers a lot. Many of the people that work with us, they are software engineers, and a lot of these guys, they are not the conventional workers. Conventional workers in Nigeria will probably be people that dress like you, they look fine like you. They, wear coats and they're in their car, hi, hello, how are you? But software engineers, people that probably, a lot of them are carefree. They look free, and because of that, they are more susceptible to police harassment. So we've had situations in which we've had to prove people's employment, show them that this person is not a Yahoo boy, for instance, tell them that, so give them ID cards. I think despite the ID cards, they are still harassed. So these are the costs of actually doing business in Nigeria that you have to factor into that other cost that you mentioned. So generally, I would say that currently now in Nigeria, by the time you look at everything that we're currently going through, in terms of the economic realities of things, like it is a little bit more difficult than it used to be. Like the high cost of doing business in Nigeria is now crazy. Like you can't, by the time you begin to imagine these things, by the time you put one and two together, it's a lot of times you even be like, sometimes you might want to tell yourself, guy, maybe you should go and pick up paid employment instead of, at the end of the month, you have to be thinking about the number of people you have to pay, the number of expenses you have to do, the fact that the government regulation and policies is not helping matters, a lot of stuff. The other day, Emefiele just woke up and decided that Abuki FX is the cost of the Naira, the Naira dollar relationship, and decided to shut down the company. For what? Because of his own policy failure. The other day they woke up and they decided that cryptocurrency is one of the problems of Nigeria, Naira to dollar exchange, and they decided to restrict.
Sorry to interrupt, but now they're not partnering with Binance to put a
at the end of the day now, and one of the things they've not realized is that indirectly they sent a lot of people out of business. People like ours, for instance, we have partners that use our APIs, to probably carry out local funds transfer in Nigeria, and a lot of these people, some of them are actually cryptocurrency companies. A lot of crypto companies were shut down, and they have direct impact on us, and because of that, we have to lay off some of our staff. So these are unit economics of many of the decisions that the government is making, and you cannot really be we cannot just speak, okay, yes, Nigeria, the fact that we can advertise the whole today and say we're looking for a sales associate, a business, or something like a customer representative, and we are going to pay them 50,000 naira. Yes, we're going to pay, that is there, but another thing you have to now consider is the fact that the value of businesses that those people can attract in the country is also limiting. It's small, very, very small. Like as it is now, there are just a lot of problems. Yes, there might be some positives in terms of what my colleague mentioned the other time when he was talking about our technology. Our technology is at par, if not better than some of the ones outside there. In terms of what leaves us with instant payment, it's like the best in the world. Like the best. Like I think we've had situations in which people come back into the country and they see how instant our transactions are, that they're surprised. They'll be like, I transferred something like this and it's already in the other person's account, thanks to NIBS, yes? So our technology is there, we're able to demonstrate. But at the same time, there are problems. The problem of internet. We've changed, in the last 1 year, we've changed router more than 3 times. And you are still not satisfied. You can't be satisfied because the problem is not going to stop. It's not, like nobody is solving the problem. The other time we're talking about capitalists or entrepreneurs maximizing profit in Nigeria. All they think about is just making money. They're not solving any problem. And the government policies is also encouraging them. So by the time you look at all of these things, I would say the economic realities of things is bad. We cannot sugarcoat things. Thank God there are no foreigners here. Most of the people here are Nigerians. We can't sugarcoat things for ourselves. The problem is still immense. There are still a lot of problems to solve, and there are still, meaning that since there are still a lot of problems to solve, that means there are a lot of money that's out there to be made. And that is the part where you were talking about what Patricia is doing. But what Patricia is doing basically is definitely affected by the policy of the government as well, because the other day they shut down cryptocurrency. If they decided to be name calling and picking each of these companies, probably you won't be hearing that guy's name again. Because at the end of the day, you just realize that a lot of them have been arrested, and that's the government, this current government is ready to do anything. So, and that's one of the problems. So, I would say that the problem is immense. Like, there are a lot of solutions out there that can still be created. A lot of solutions, right? So, and it's on us to see telecommunications in Nigeria is not yet fixed, I would say 100%. Like, looks like it, like we have a lot of big companies in that space. We are, in terms of, I think we still need like innovators to come into that space to disrupt things, right? I understand that it's actually like it's an industry that is capital intensive, but at the same time, we still need to solve problems in terms of internet power. You mentioned things about power, energy. We need to create solutions that does not necessarily have to solve the problem for everybody at the same time. Probably just focus on some, maybe Ibadan Metropolis, for instance, where big businesses are like Bodija, Ringwood, solve telecommunications for us, solve internet for us, solve power for us. And in all of that, you realize that then it will, it will spread across the impact of the solutions that is created in those places is going to get across board, and it's also going to, it's going to promote competition, and it's actually going to make the country better. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. You really raised a lot of important points there, and in line with what I wrote there on my notes. So, Mr. Boyle, I mean, many of us may not privilege to know your background, like many of us in our. I know, starting before, you have an economic background, if I'm correct. Typically not a technology background. Before, for the past 35 years right now, you've moved into tech space, started building websites. Right now, you are like a guru, code, a lot of stuff going on. So this question is circled around being an innovator. And again, good that you also have background into this libertarianism as well that we've been so far fighting for freedom. So as an innovator, like you also mentioned as well, what are the current innovation happening in the SME space so far in Nigeria?
Olumide mentioned a lot of things. You look at, and Professor also made mention of, at times there's the economic side, there's the ethical side, then there is also the business side. So, for instance, you've had platforms like CrowdFest, is it CrowdFest or Tribe Agri? You've had a lot of all these agri platforms come trying to solve this hunger. All of them will tell you is United Nations goal, zero hunger, everything. But you see that they're doing something. Two things majorly. One is they're trying to help the agriculture side, then they are also trying to help the investment side. As Africans, most times we are known as spendthrift people from the economic point of view because we earn very less. So those kind of innovations have come to help us bridge the gap between the investment side and the farm side. Even though they had their own shortcomings, because a lot of them didn't eventually use these funds to run the farms the way they should be run. Some have little farms, but they got so much more money than they can use to run a farm than the farms they can manage. So that side comes in. So those are like innovations that they had the vision side, but they had the ethical side that dropped them back. We also had people like OPay. We all know about OPay. Even though their transportation side is no longer moving, the finance side is still working. They acquired, is it one PSSP? I think it's Paycom or something. So when they came in, they acquired Paycom. So they have been using Paycom to do, what do they call that thing? Financial, digital banking, in order to get more people. There's a particular term used in the banking space, meaning to take banking to the people at the grassroots level. That's like the branded name of the solution. There's a problem that the agency banking was meant to solve. I can't remember the name, but that's not yet financial inclusion. Agency banking is being done to get financial inclusion. So we have these kind of solutions, and also if you look at the agriculture part, like I said, is like two phases. There's the farm part, there's the investment part. There's also another phase, which is the distribution and the retail side. You see, even though they are not doing it from the farm, you see people like Max.ng, people like Jumia Food, they are trying to make sure that you can order food, and they're trying to get the delivery to you. And there are also a lot of softwares out there. They might not have them because they are not the user-facing side of softwares. There are softwares when you go to all these restaurants that have been created for them to manage their restaurants, manage their inventory, get their sales reports in real time. So a lot of these innovations are going on, but and even there's another one that is, I think there's this other person that was going to be on the panel. Yeah.
F&K.
Yeah, F&K. There is also these guys, All African Foods. So All African Foods, they are like aggregator. You can use them to get your groceries online. So what are they trying to do? They are trying to aggregate the SMEs in the farming space that have all these groceries and are losing their stock because they could not either get them to market fast or they could not sell them before, because some of these things are perishable. So those are the innovations I can think of on top of my head. And also, just like you being the guru of the blockchain, there are also big, that's why I said there's a lot of things to these innovations. There are a lot of innovations that could have moved beyond what they are, but the regulation actually hammered on them. And I think the crypto space is one. But even at that, a lot of people are still running their crypto business, because even one still got acquired like 2 days ago. Niger Crypto, they got acquired by a company from, I think, US or UK. So it shows that even if the government here is trying to hammer down on you, and when you were talking about the cost of the business, it's true, the cost of the business have the financial side, like the number side, and the side that you cannot really put number to, which he has mentioned. But what you can also say is that the main reason why the cost is like that, why it's small compared to other countries, is because there's this guy, he said supply creates its own demand, John Stuart Mill. So what that means is that because the Nigerian space itself doesn't really have as much figures to give you as an SME, particularly when you are just starting, is also part of why the cost is small. You understand? So a lot of solutions. So it means that, for instance, now I can't openly say people should go into building innovations in the blockchain space now, because we know, just like Professor said, it's like something that has been banned. It's like smuggling. It might not be the physical good, but it's like service smuggling, kind of also. I'm talking about that, so I wouldn't want to mention solutions in that space that much. Yeah.
It is fine. Also, just for clarity, I'm also just still learning about blockchain as well, so don't assume
You said?
I'm also just still learning about blockchain.
No, I know you. You've been learning about blockchain since 2015. I've known you since.
And also for clarity, beyond cryptocurrency, there are other use cases of blockchain technology. So don't let us get it mixed up when people are talking about banning and blockchain.
Yeah.
There are people looking for using blockchain for real estate, for land tech, for same agriculture, for supply chain, and some other
use
cases.
Even for
health as well.
Interested in that.
Yeah, and to even bust your bubble, all the roads in Kigali, Rwanda are hashed on the blockchain.
Oh, wow.
All the roads in Kigali are hashed on blockchain. So that's another use case of blockchain technology. So, Mr. Lumide, I have this very personal question to you, which you mentioned earlier, and I'm glad you align on that. Are the fintech solutions really addressing SME growth or SME needs in Nigeria?
Yes, to a very large extent. I would say we've created a lot of solutions now. Like, I think we have to give these guys their flowers. A lot of innovators are currently in the market. They've been there for like maybe going to a decade now. You know, the likes of InterSwitch have been, the likes of InterSwitch, Unified Payment, you know, even what NIPS is doing, and all these guys. A lot of them have, you know, they've been solving problems. And I think modern financial institutions also, like the likes of Paystack, Flutterwave ourselves, and a few other guys, actually, you know, we've been able to solve a lot of problems around payments, collections. So I would say, yes, in terms of SME needs, because by the time you break down the SME needs, they'll be talking, a lot of them will be like, how can my customers pay me easily? And I think that question to a very large extent is answered, right, in Nigeria. Like, as it is now, there are a lot of payment methods. Like, except you don't want to open your business, or you are scared, or you are just naive, I think the problem of payment is like solved. Yeah, a lot of things have to be done. I believe that there's nothing that cannot be improved upon, but at the same time, I believe that in terms of payment and collection in Nigeria, a lot has been done. Also, in terms of probably automation, you know, like as it is, we probably operations of every business or every small business, you're talking about payrolls, talk about bill payment, talk about many of the things that it needs to do. A lot of these things has also been done in terms of invoicing, you know, like what you mentioned in terms of probably operating systems or management platforms where they used to probably manage their probably inventory management, you know, restaurant management. There are a lot of solutions that have been, you know, like, that have been done or that have been provided, and a lot of them are actually working, right? And you know, banking, payment, and all those things are done. But I actually think there are still a lot that we can still do as well, because in every solution that we create, we always have to look at things from the pain point of the customer or from the businesses. And as it is in Nigeria today, the problems that we mentioned earlier in terms of power is still there. The problems we talked about in terms of internet is still there. And there's still a lot of other problems. And I believe everybody will agree with me when I say the problem of credit is still there. And you know, when the other time we were talking about the impact of the current economic situation, then we have to look at that from the aspect of finance as well. Aspect of finance in the sense that as it is now, it's already bad as it is. It's bad enough that you are a black man, right? It's bad enough that you're a black lady. It's bad enough that you are born in Nigeria. It's bad enough that you studied in Nigeria. Sometimes we don't know, we don't evaluate the impact of many of these things. The other day, a lot of international airlines, you know, started pulling out of the country. And what was the reason they gave? They said they have over $600 million trapped in Nigeria. And these are the issues. Because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of time when you start pitching to investors and telling them to bring their money to Nigeria, to give you money for solutions you are creating in Nigeria, a lot of times those investors are telling you, they'll be like, they are skeptical about investing in Nigeria because they've had situations of people not being able to take their money out of Nigeria. Because at the end of the day now, you'll be like, okay, I give you $2 million to power a solution in Nigeria. At the end of the day, by the time you power the solution, you have a lot of naira, and that guy is an investor in your company, and you are not able to repatriate these funds. Their funds is trapped in Nigeria. They won't come to Nigeria just to come and be spending money they don't have to spend. So a lot of them have